Welcome, everybody, to the Major League Rugby 2026 Draft Show. Great to have you here. I'm Alex Goff, and if you don't know me, I'm the editor of Goff Rugby Report. I've been reporting on a daily basis on collegiate rugby for a long time. Been ranking college teams for over 20 years, and in my spare time, get to oversee the awarding of the Rudy Schultz Award for Player of the Year, which is really fun. Delighted to be here. We have a really exciting show for you as we find out who gets drafted into Major League Rugby from the collegiate ranks here in 2026. Interesting little shift in the formats of this draft as we go in, because we have a 5-team league, and with one team having to give up a draft pick. So we have 14 picks overall. We're going to go through all of them tonight with 4 picks in the first round. Old Glory DC is going to start that off, followed by Seattle, California, and then the defending champions, the 2026 champions, Chicago Hounds. New England Free Jacks get to come in with their first pick to start off round 2, and they will also start off round 3. And you'll see the Free Jacks also get an extra pick down further in round 3 that they traded for from the California Legion. So that's going to be an interesting thing as to how they leverage that pick. So far, though, we can look back on what has been a really exciting year in Major League Rugby, especially with the Chicago Hounds running the table the way they did. And let's have a look at how 2026 ran through in Major League Rugby.
The wait is over. The stage is set. The 2026 MLR season is underway.
The Old Mate, the Supporters Cup is on the line.
It's all on the line. This is what footy is about.
And this is it.
Anthem just continuing to roll over this Legion defense.
That is the match. Anthem wins its first ever match in Major League Rugby.
Check this out. What a start. Through ahead, and it's a try. Here's the outside channel work for Chicago.
Another strong fan. Rizzo, that's ridiculous.
Well, a lot of parity also in the league, which was pretty exciting to see. And now we're just going to check in with Major League Rugby co-president and recent inductee into the U.S. Rugby Hall of Fame, Alex Magleby. Mags, great to see you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Alex, it's great to be here. And first of all, congratulations on your induction into the U.S. Rugby Hall of Fame. Yes, it's good to see you 2 weeks in a row. This is great.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We're reacquainting ourselves. It's really great. Coming out of 2026, really interesting. Put aside the Hounds for a minute. I mean, that central block of teams, there's a lot of parity in there. And even with Anthem pulling out a couple of wins, as they said in the recap, their first time.
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic season for Major League Rugby and our team. Certainly a lot of parity. It's funny. We used to measure parity by how a game ends. If it's within 7 points this year, we were far away from that relative to the past, but we had a lot more teams who had a chance to compete for a championship, which was really great to see. And I think more importantly, if you look at the rosters and the makeup of the league, more than 70% of the players now in the league have a chance to play for the United States and compete for a spot in the 2027 Rugby World Cup. So that's super cool. And even with that change, we still saw more tries scored than we've ever had in the history of Major League Rugby. We saw ball and play longer than we've ever had. So the rugby product itself was amazing.
You point out there the increase in the American players and the USA Eagle eligible players in there, and that's what this draft is all about. And I'm put in mind, like T.I. Vavau is a great example of a player that maybe not many people saw, but he was noticed by somebody, and you see the reaction from his family when he got drafted.
How cool is that?
How much does that mean for some of these players?
Yeah, how cool is that? You know, as a former Eagle and a college player and high school player, this is an opportunity we just didn't really have. You know, it was back in the day, you had boots will travel and you had to go overseas to try to find this opportunity. And now these young men get to go push and be the very best they can possibly be on the field and off through Major League Rugby, which is amazing. Look how beautiful that is.
Yeah. We're down to 5 teams this coming year. We were at 6. Is that enough?
Yeah, I think you look at it from a high performance perspective, and the average across countries around the world who are feeding a national team about 4.47. So I think we're in a pretty good space from a high performance perspective. Certainly from a business perspective, we want media scale, that's for sure. And that'll take time as we build up to the 31 Rugby World Cup and after, certainly.
You're increasing the number of U.S. eligible players into the league, but Anthem is the team that's dropping out. So tell me about that, how that balances out.
Yeah, I think before we initiated the joint venture with World Rugby and USA Rugby to build Anthem, we had a lot of young Americans coming in, and most of our owners are really passionate about the American game. They want to see the Eagles do well. They want to see aspirational pathways for young players to get into the game. And Anthem, that 3-year commitment to Anthem, allowed us an opportunity to get game time for our younger American players who otherwise weren't really getting a lot of that game time across the league. And so now that we've seen that happen, it was a success. Now with 5, 6 teams in the league, there's plenty of opportunities for them to compete against each other.
10th year in the league. The league is now, it'll be the 10th season coming up.
Yeah, how cool is that?
That's actually, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. That's awesome. 10 years, of growing and learning and fans, and you're getting new fans. And obviously we want more cities in time. We have great fans in a whole group of different cities in the United States. And of course, from a media scale perspective, as we grow this, but we have the chance in the next 10 years for this to be the largest pro competition in the world.
Wonderful. We're just wrapping up with you. I wish we'd had more time. Anything to say to the draftees this year?
Yeah, just keep at it. Whether you're part of the group that gets drafted tonight, keep at it. We've had a lot of players come through who are drafted in the 33, 34th spot, late spots, who now have done really, really well in Major League Rugby. Just look at that championship game. Jake, Thomas, Casarius, they were lower down. Zach Bastrez was awesome. Will Chevalier later on. And if it doesn't work out tonight, it's okay. There's not a judgment of you. Just keep getting at it. Keep getting your rugby reps in. Get to a city. Travel. Have boots. We'll play. And keep working your tail off, and good things will happen.
By my count, 123 drafted players out of 229 have seen time in the MLR. A couple more, 2 or 3, have gone professionally somewhere else, like the USA Sevens team. I think that's a pretty good strike rate.
It's absurd. It's fantastic. Over the last 9 years of Major League Rugby, and thankful to our visionary and gritty owners, we've had 942 American athletes sign professional contracts. That's amazing and absurd. And that's only going to continue to grow as we learn to do this better and bring in more fans from the non-rugby public to our great game and the intimacy of our awesome community.
All right. Well, former Eagle Alex Magleby, really appreciate it. Thanks so much. And we'll be excited to see what happens in the draft.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you for being here.
Well, there we go with that. Really interesting to talk about the positives going forward. 5 teams? Yeah, 5 teams may be the right amount. Talking about American players who have taken the step forward and really grasped that opportunity. One of those is Peyton Wall, who is the Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago, and this past season was an integral part of the Chicago Hounds, who went undefeated and won the championship. I got a chance to catch up with Peyton earlier today, and this is the chat we had with the former Indiana University star. All right. Well, Peyton, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us. Rookie of the Year coming into your first season 2 years ago, and then you capped that off. No sophomore slump. Amazing championship run with the Chicago Hounds. Great season. When you reflect on that, what are the feelings? And were you able to really celebrate and enjoy the moment once it happened?
Yeah, the feelings are great and everything. Coming into this season, especially knowing that I have kind of big shoes to fill, especially winning the Rookie of the Year. Just knowing like back in my mind, I need to stay humble, I need to like keep that grind. Like Noel and Leto and Todd really helped me get to that. Especially even after the win, like the celebrations. I mean, we have continued it. We still continue it. Like we have some jokes here and there with the boys. Like I still live with Kobe Baker, one of our teammates. Mark still comes in and out. Like it's so much fun. Still talking about it, seeing the memories still pop up and everything. It's very exciting.
Well, winning that Rookie of the Year award, that's a big thing, to be drafted and then go in and perform immediately. And I know you're a great attacking player. I think people can overlook your defense and the little things like the kick chase, stuff like that.
Yep.
What, though, was your experience in terms of going from the collegiate level, going from Indiana into the MLR? What was a surprise? What were some things you could handle?
Yep. I mean, like the biggest thing for me was patience and like knowing like when to like take your chance. So like, especially with the new guys coming out of the draft, like some people like will maybe expect immediately start making an impact, but it may not happen. Like the opportunities may not come into you, or if they do, like they're very little. So like coming into it, knowing like I need to like make a big statement. Like the first few practices, I knew it wasn't going to happen. It's like when those chances happen, like if someone were to get hurt, like, and I get called into that spot, I need to be prepared for that. So like day in and day out, like even film review, like at IU, like we really do that much. Like, no, that's a big step for me. Like working with like Matthew Wagner, like he helped me like get that film analysis down and ready. Like even during practices, like watching before and after, like the skills rotation, like taking the coaches, like having meetings, like try to get in much meetings I can, like every day, like try to pick their brain of like, how can I improve here? Where can I improve here? Like, where am I going wrong? Like trying to build those connections. So like they can, if something does happen, you're there for a trust. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. You the ramp up for like film analysis, stuff like that. What are some of the other facilities that you were able to take advantage of to help you grow?
Mm-hmm. Chicago, we're very blessed. We have our field there, our gyms there, our meeting rooms, all in-house. Like we just got access to hot and cold tubs like that the old Fire used to use when they're in their stadium. So like these small things like really help us be like these pro athletes that we never really had at IU, like my college experience or some other colleges may not have, or even just like having trainers there at practice since like being a club team, like we didn't have those, like getting ankle tips, like that type of stuff. Like I love our trainers, I love our staff, and like especially just the facilities in general.
Advice for anybody who's now on the clock waiting to see if they're going to get drafted, get that call you went through.
I'm just saying, stay in it, be patient. Like when it happens, get that call, be excited, celebrate with the family. Like it's a big moment in your life. It'll help like your rugby career forward on. Just be patient when you come into practices in the stadium.
All right. Well, good advice. I appreciate it, Peyton. Thanks a lot. Best of luck with the coming season.
Alex. Thank you.
All right. Well, it was great to talk to Peyton there. And we are going to go back to Major League Rugby Co-President Alex Magleby, who will kick off the 2026 draft.
Thanks, AG. On behalf of myself and co-president partner Graham Bradbury and our amazing owners, first a very warm welcome and heartfelt thank you to our amazing fans, both here in the United States and across the globe who are tuning in tonight. 5 years from now, Men's Rugby World Cup will be on these shores, third largest sporting event in the world. And tonight we take our next step forward towards 23 as we welcome these new stars in at the dawn of our 10th season. That's incredible, 10 seasons. Just absolutely awesome. 3 rounds tonight. North America's rising stars will see their hard work pay off and find their new professional homes. I'd be remiss of me if I didn't say a massive thank you to the great work of our U.S. university coaches who have developed these great players and prepared them so well. So draft order is set. Our front office, they're dialed in. The future is officially now. It gives me great pleasure to announce with the first overall pick in the 2026 Major League Rugby College Draft, Old Glory DC is now on the clock.
That's right. Old Glory DC is on the clock. There are a lot of options here. The players that come to mind especially would be a couple of Schultz finalists. So the Schultz Award winner, Solomon Williams out of Cal, a dynamic scrum half, and then Schultz Award finalist Logan Ballinger out of Life, who is a hard coal-face kind of worker in the forwards and the leader by example. You also have something to keep in mind, perhaps, is these are they don't have to be USA eligible players, but it really helps if you are, because that's what the teams need in order to just fulfill the minimums that they need for USA eligible players. However, there is a little bit of a wiggle room there, and that is these pathway players. These are players who are very, very close to gaining their USA eligibility through residency. It means they haven't played for another national team and they've been in the United States for a long period. And that brings up some of those players that may say, hey, I thought he wasn't from the United States. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right, because he's been here long enough. That opens up the options for some of these players, and we'll see what decisions those teams make going through. But we do have, along with Williams and Ballinger, Kobe Baker has been talked about an awful lot. There are players that I'm excited about. Aaron Van Dyke, who was a Schultz nominee out of Arkansas State, another player of interest. And I believe we're going to go, we've got our pick. And let's see what we've got. And our number one pick from Old Glory DC is Logan Ballinger from Life University, is the number one pick in the 2026 MLR draft. And Seattle now has to make a decision. Logan, a player who makes his tackles, wins his rucks, and there we are. We're live, actually, in the Life University locker room, and there's Logan right there, just a little bit left to your screen. Oh, they just blew out the server. There we go. Logan is there. Logan, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Logan, congratulations. Expecting this? Was this a surprise? What did you think?
No, I was surprised. It was a surprise, man. I had no idea.
That's excellent. Excellent. You know, you don't bring a lot of attention to yourself. You're a leader by example. You're very quiet. Tell me about the kind of game that you think you can bring that a team will benefit from, Old Glory will benefit from.
Well, I think I bring a lot of physicality. I'm a big team player, and I wouldn't be in this position without my teammates. So all glory to them. And
you know that's I spent a lot of time looking for highlights of you when we Schultz Award finalist. All I saw were tackles and clearouts, man. I mean, that's what you're about, isn't that true?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. That is right. A man of few words, a man of a lot of action, and I think that Old Glory recognized that. Congratulations, Logan. Very happy for you, and I'll let you off the hook after that. And we're looking to see what will happen with the next pick. But our number one pick overall, Logan Ballinger, out of Life University. Pretty amazing choice, I think, because exactly that. We're right on this, where Old Glory looked and saw a player who is enormously unselfish, does not care about scoring tries. All he cares about is like go forward, win rucks, create turnovers, things like that. And that's actually what you need from your number 6, your loose forward, and I think a good pick for Old Glory. As we go through, and we're waiting on the Seattle Seawolves, and all right, so we do have a pick coming in, and the pick for the Seattle Seawolves, the number 2 pick overall, is Solomon Williams from Cal, the scrum half out of the University of California, out of the Thunder program in Southern California in high school, and led Cal. There we go, and there's his family, a great rugby family. His father is his coach. His mother, who helps run things in Southern California, and Solomon Williams has been a great leader for Cal. So Solomon, we might have Solomon on the line. Do we have? There he is. There's the man, Solomon. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well right now, Mr. Goff.
It has been a good year for you. Schultz Award winner, Cal, undefeated through the season. Big part of that. There you go. You're going to Seattle with the Seawolves, and a number 2 pick as a scrum half. Pretty exciting. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's a loss for words right now. It's an unreal experience, and be picked by Seattle. What a great team with great history. And not only that, my brother lives there, so another cherry on top. But no, what a blessing, and just super excited to get to work. So,
what influence has this family that's around you had to get you here?
Yeah, I mean, they've done so much for me. It's been tenfold, from my dad coaching me since I was young, showing me the game, to have a brother like that to compete, and to have a mom always there for me, always having my back. So, all of them play a huge part, and it's not just my family, but my coaches, my friends, and especially my teammates. So, both at Cal Rugby, at Thunder Rugby, with the USA Pathways as well. There have been so many players and people just part of that journey. So I'm very grateful for all that.
Now, I've got to tell you, I actually know the head coach at Seattle, Alan Clark, pretty well. And so maybe call me and ask me some questions later. But you're a runner. You're an attacking scrum half. Tell me, though, I mean, if you're asked to just pass 100 times a game and just be that metronome, does that fit in with your style of play as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think, I'm a team player and I want to do everything I can to win, right? I'm a competitor. So anything I can do to help the team and, bring whatever aspects of my game to help win a championship, that's my goal. And so, essentially whatever I need to do that, I do think, as you said, I've, some strengths with my running ability, but whatever they ask me to do, I'm just here to win. So however I can do that.
You're just here to win. All right, Solomon, congratulations. Well done. And looking forward to see what you do in Seattle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goff. Appreciate it.
And then let's have a look at what Solomon Williams can bring to the table. As we said, Schultz Award winner, player of the year, running the offense for a high potent attack from Cal that won all their games going to the championship, D1A championship. All right. Well, that was the second pick. Now we're looking at the third pick and waiting on the California Legion to make their choice. As we said about Williams, he's a dynamic player. He does like to run the ball, but he can pass and he can pass. And he was central to a Cal team that was scoring 50-plus points a game. And it looks like we've got our third pick. California Legion has made their pick, and they're staying in Southern California. Their choice, number 3 pick, Kobe Baker out of Cal Poly. Kind of a Mr. Everyman for Cal Poly. He did do it all. He's a center 3-quarter. And there's a big celebration, and there's the man himself, Kobe. And Kobe, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Well, congratulations, Kobe. And by the way, there's another Kobe Baker in MLR. It's a different guy. He plays prop. This guy plays center or fly half or whatever they want you to. Kobe, one of the interesting things about you grew up kind of all over the world. Southeast Asia, played a lot of rugby when you were young. And I think that's an ongoing theme with these guys who are picked early, is you picked up the sport early. How important was that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, started, like 16 years ago playing, just throwing the ball around with my dad and our local club team. And shout out the Royal Slung Club and the Kuala Lumpur Tigers teams, because that's where it all started, just throwing the ball and playing touch and all just barefoot and just ripping in and having fun. So,
and because of that, you bring these skills to the Mustangs. You're able to, grubbers on the run. You're able to make some offloads that are pretty difficult to make, and read the game. And I think you changed your game because you were somebody who was like taking the ball a lot, but then you started to distribute more because you felt that was the thing to do. Tell me about how your game has evolved at Cal Poly with your coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going into it was kind of like our first. It was always 10s growing up, so 15s.
Yeah.
It was a whole different beast. But yeah, I mean, just shout out the Cal Poly boys and Coach Chris O'Brien. They taught me all how to sort of be an effective ball carrier, but also distributor, passer, putting guys in space, making the right reads, kicking. Chris O'Brien, famous for his boots.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That coaching too. So yeah, shout out just like Cal Poly and Cal Poly Rugby. It's a great club and great school. So yeah.
All right. Well, Kobe, congratulations. Very happy for you. Number 3 pick in the MLR draft. I don't know if that was a surprise to you or not, but well deserved. And we're going to have a look at some of the highlights and see some of the things you can do on the field. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
And let's have a look at Kobe Baker and see what he brings to the California Legion. And we are back, and guess what? We have already got a pick. Chicago Hounds, looking to get a dynamic player, have made their pick, and they have picked hooker flanker Hayden McKay out of Mount St. Mary's. And McKay, a little light for a hooker, perhaps the smallest one. At the same time, super mobile, rugby IQ all over, way high. And a very intelligent player, but can play flanker, can play hooker. And I think we've got Hayden here. There he is. There's the man himself. And Hayden, probably going to run into you, I think, in a couple of weeks. There's a game nearby. I think you'll come see you, which will be great. But tell me about how you're feeling right now. Number 4 pick in the MLR draft.
Yeah, Goff, good to see you, mate. Obviously, so excited, man. That's sort of something that you always dream about as a kid growing up, about playing professional rugby. So I'm absolutely so pumped up, man. I'm just ready to get in, boots in ground, and get ripped straight in. So,
flanker, hooker, which one? Do you have a choice?
Hey,
do you have a
That's sort of the magical question. Everyone asks me that, but it's sort of wherever the team needs me, Goff. So if they think I'm more eligible at hooker, then hey, happy days.
So, and you look at the two positions, you can say, hey, as a hooker, you can bring mobility and create act as a fourth loose forward. And then as a flanker, you are, you're pretty tough and tight, and you can come in and, throw in the line out and do some extra things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think playing sort of both positions.
Yeah. And okay, Zap, you know what? It's pretty overwhelming, right? And so it's taking your voice away. But that's cool. You're going to a top team, and so I think the advice from Peyton Wall was be patient. Do you think that's probably good advice for you?
Yeah, I definitely think it is, man. Going into a top team like that is always going to be tough to get in, but go in there, put your head down, and get to work. So.
Hayden, congratulations. Well done. First round pick, the pick by the Chicago Hounds. Congratulations. Good luck with the rest of the season at Mount St. Mary's. We're going to have a look at you're very welcome. And we'll have a look at some of the things that Hayden McKay brings to the table. He's great in the back of the maul. He can throw in the line out well. He can scrum up front. He can scrum on the edge. All right. And so let's have a look at this round one. Logan Ballinger, Schultz Award finalist, a guy who gets work done, is not a flashy player. They don't want that. What they want is somebody who wins ball and defends. And I think that that's what they got there. The Seawolves are looking for kind of an X-factor guy who can run an attack, and Solomon Williams absolutely can do that, and he will have some good mentorship there at Seattle at the halfback position. I think that's huge because then it's not all on him immediately. Kobe Baker. Here's a player who could do anything in the back line. You put him somewhere, he's going to make something happen. Take his time, but he's been a sponge, and you heard what he said. He talked about learning. Even though he came in with so much experience into college, he's still learning. So teach me to become a great kicker. And he kicks for goal as well. That's very important. And then Hayden McKay, again, all these players, I'll do what the team needs. This might be an apprenticeship for a little bit for him with the Hounds. And as we wrap that up, we're looking at round 2, and this is the first opportunity for the New England Free Jacks to come in, and they have some options here. What are they going to do? Because they've got those 3 picks and the later rounds, and the question now is, do you go for a specific positional need? And I have to say, Will Hooley, if you're looking for Will Hooley, he's fine. He's good. He's just, fates have intervened. But I have to give credit to Will for all the work he's done for this show, and also talking to me about the MLR teams. And, he's saying there's not a specific positional need. Maybe it's just who they're most excited about. And we do have New England's pick has come in, and it is Owen Clark from Brown University. A fascinating pick here because Owen Clark, out of Staples High School, USA U20, Irish mother, Brown football, played for football for Brown, and then it went back to rugby. Flanker lock from Brown. And Owen, I think we've got Owen on the screen. Owen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There's the man. Here we go, Owen. Congratulations.
Thank
pick
you.
For the New England Free Jacks. And, you're not a crossover where they say, oh, he's a football player, because you played rugby. You played rugby when you were young, but you have bounced between the 2 sports. Tell me about that decision to go play football at Brown and then to come back to rugby.
I mean, yeah, I love both sports the entire time. Grade-wise, football could help me a little bit. So,
right.
It helped me get into Brown, which was an awesome time. And then, I've always loved rugby, and the Brown rugby team, the second I was done with football, took me in, and it was a seamless transition. Those guys were awesome. The coaches were great. So it was smooth. It was great.
6'4", we've got down 6'4", 245. Does that sound about right? As a flanker lock, you're right there where you could be, 6'4", 5", any of those. What are the strengths that you feel you bring to the rugby field?
I try to run hard. I think I do well with the ball in my hands, and I've always been very good at tackling, and I pride myself on my tackling. And I've had some great coaches, so in the scrums and lineouts, I've learned incredible technique. So I think I can be an asset there as well.
Happy to be staying in New England?
Yeah, beautiful part of the country.
Yeah, you're a New England guy, right? You're a New England guy, so let's keep a New England guy. Well, it's fantastic. Well, Owen, congratulations. Amazing job. Well done. Not easy to go back and forth between those sports, so well done.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And coming up next, right after that, and it's going to go a little faster as the rounds go on, Old Glory DC have picked their choice for the second round, and they are going with St. Mary's College of California fullback Mario Storti. Mario Storti becomes the second Storti to be drafted. His brother Eric was drafted, and that is the second group of brothers who have been drafted, with the Roberts brothers out of Life University also both being drafted. And Mario Storti, a very elusive, exciting, intelligent fullback, maybe a little bit smaller than his brother, but maybe a little bit faster too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And as we're looking for, we're going to go right on to the next pick, in fact. And the Seawolves, who are basking in the glory of getting Solomon Williams have gone with David Cathcart out of Lindenwood. Now, here's one of those players who is on that pathway from Scotland, from a delightful town called Peebles in Scotland. And he is on his way to being qualified by residency. So this is a pathway player. It counts as a domestic player. He is a dynamic, very intelligent wing. It's the first wing we've seen drafted for sure. And I think he can play some fullback as well, but he is a finisher and he is a try scorer for sure. So Cathcart out of Lindenwood goes to Seattle. And it looks like we have another pathway player coming in. California Legion comes in with their pick. They were ready with this one, Aaron Van Dyke. And we talked about him earlier. Aaron Van Dyke, the number 8 or lock out of Arkansas State, originally from South Africa, but he's on the pathway. He's been in there. He's the captain of Arkansas State and such an intelligent player and hugely physical and hugely impressive for the Red Wolves. Played at Selborne College. And he, about 6'1", 245. Tell you what, he plays bigger than that. He is a powerful presence, especially in contact. So Aaron Van Dyke is your pick for the California Legion. And we are coming to the end of round 2, just like that. Chicago Hounds have made their pick, and they have gone with another forward. And this another tight 5 forward, and that is Tyler White out of St. Bonaventure. A lock with a very high work rate. White is out of Western New York, so went to St. Bonaventure State, was from Western New York, from Grand Island, played his high school rugby there. He's a big boy. He's at 6'5", 240. So I think that's a really interesting choice here. What we saw is 3 teams going for physicality, forwards, guys who can play lock but could also play a little bit of loose forward. Tyler White, probably the tallest at 6'5", but all 3 of those can go in the line out. And then you've got 2 players who are kind of more X factor. Mario Storti, really impressive as a kicker, but also as a counter attacker, and can go in and play some fly half and be a game manager. Whereas David Cathcart, really, he's a finisher. He's a guy you want on the edge to go chase down kicks, to make tackles, but also to score tries. So an interesting mix, really. What we haven't seen are any props, and I think this draft is maybe a little bit light in the front row as we go to round 3, and we are looking at New England Free Jacks get the second pick of their run of picks, and they have gone for, and this is really interesting, they have gone for Cormac Saint, the scrum half out of Cal. Now, we've already said, hey, didn't Cal have a scrum half? Yes, they did, but Cormac Saint is also an excellent scrum half for Cal, and that's one of the reasons why Cal was able to do so well, is they had so much talent there. Saint, interesting, qualifies for Canada as well as the United States, but he is not captured by Canada. Played at Motherlode in Northern California. He's born in the UK, qualifies for Canada, playing for Cal. Really intelligent player. And I think that if he weren't on the same squad as Solomon Williams, in most collegiate teams, he would be far and away their starting scrum half. So it's really a smart and insightful, I think, pick from the Free Jacks to say, hey, this is somebody we want to go with. Let's go with the second pick in round 3. That is number 11. Old Glory DC has made their pick, and they have gone with Nate Deegan. Nate Deegan, the hooker out of St. Mary's College of California, but it's actually a local pick because Deegan is a Gonzaga College prep player out of the DC area, so he's really going back home. Deegan, a smaller, very mobile hooker, very talented, and will bring a lot of X factor as well. And going to pick 12, Seattle Seawolves have picked Tristan Hubsch out of Life University, and we see them on the screen. I think Tristan, out of South Africa, but a USA eligible player, and a very punishing lock and flanker. And Tristan, I think we've got him here. Tristan, can you hear me? We'll unmute them and then we can hear you. There we go. There's the man. Looking good. Tristan, congratulations. Little bit of a surprise.
Thank you very much. I was a little bit nerve-wracking over you, not going to lie.
Yeah, you bringing in, you're really like Logan in a lot of ways in terms of how you play. Very physical, winning rucks, things like that. Tell me about your game and what you'd like to bring to your team.
Well, I feel like I'm a player that works hard. I don't really care about the recognition or anything. I'll work until I can't anymore. So I feel like that's what brings the team.
All right, excellent. Well, you know what? That is exactly what they are looking for. You're going to go to Seattle. Enjoy Seattle. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Tristan Hoops coming in from Life University. And we are going to our 13th pick now. New England Free Jacks got this pick from California Legion, and that gave them a little extra pick. And they have chosen to pick University of Mary Washington fullback Will Lindsay. This is a really interesting one. I don't think people had Will Lindsay on their bingo card on this. He's a smaller player, a dynamic fullback, and a little bit in the mold of Storty, and very intelligent player. He is another one who is a pathway player working toward that residency, and he's just around the corner from that. All right, and just like that, everybody, we have our final pick. Our final pick, Chicago Hounds go with Fraser Leslie, the lock flanker out of Walsh University. So Fraser's just down the road from me, and I have to tell you, this is an imposing physical presence. He's a very exciting player. He runs very well with the ball. He's big. He's powerful. Originally from Australia, but getting to that pathway, that residency qualification, he can pass extremely well. But if you look at some of his video, which we'll probably share in Goff Rugby Report, you will see a player who punishes defenders. Really interesting pick from the Hounds, and I think they've just got a bruiser and an intelligent bruiser. So once again, congratulations to all the players who were picked. But remember, if you weren't picked, that's not the end of your story. As Alex Magleby said, this means now you have the opportunity to choose a city, go play for a club in an MLR city, and be seen. And there are plenty of teams who see those players. So let's have a look, just to look back. If you're joining us late, let's have a look back at these picks now. In round one, which was four picks in round one, Logan Ballinger, a player who works at the coalface as a leader by example and a loose forward out of Life University, followed by Seattle picking Solomon Williams, the engine of the attack for Cal this year, and the Schultz Award winner, scrum half, Kobe Baker, the center from Cal Poly, and then Hayden McKay, the hooker flanker out of Mount St. Mary's, goes to Chicago. So that would be your round one grouping. And then we go to round two, and we see New England Free Jacks going with Owen Clark, the flanker lock out of Staples High School and then Brown University, played football at Brown as well, brings that physicality and that intensity, that explosiveness that you get from football players, especially football players who know their rugby. And then Mario Storty, dynamic fullback from St. Mary's, goes to Old Glory. And then Seattle Seawolves pick just a pure finisher, and David Cathcart out of Lindenwood. Aaron Van Dyke, Arkansas State University, the flanker, number 8 lock out of Arkansas State. And he is a powerful presence and a leader, captain of that team. And then Chicago Hounds went with Tyler White, tall, probably the tallest guy in this group that's been picked at about 6'5", pushing maybe a little bit more than that. Great line out and hard worker out of St. Bonaventure. And then round 3, let's have a look at round 3. Cormac St., another scrum half from Cal. And Nate Deegan, excellent hooker, goes back to his hometown of D.C. To play for D.C. Old Glory after playing hooker for St. Mary's on the West Coast. Tristan Hoops going up to Seattle from Life University, a hard hitter, a physical presence. Will Lindsay, a very silky smooth and intelligent fullback, goes to the Free Jacks. And then Fraser Leslie, another powerful presence, a hard runner and a big man for Chicago. So that's our picks. That's the 14 picks. Alex Magleby, you've been watching this whole thing, keeping everybody honest on the clock and everything. What do you think about this group? And I mentioned, but you can mention too, what you have to say to players who were not drafted.
Well, I think there's multiple things here. First, how awesome was it to see people like Solomon with their family and just the celebration? I just love that. And, Logan with his teammates. I just love it. And I love that about our sport. And they have a huge opportunity ahead of them, but it's going to require a lot of work, as we know. And there's many others who haven't been in this draft, but we know who can do really well. So I hope they continue to put their hand up and figure out a way to keep pushing and get onto a squad, as we've seen before. There's only so many players that can make this draft, but there's a lot of players we think that in time and given the right environment can be hyper competitive in MLR and continue to move the rugby product forward, but in the future play for the US Eagles and represent us at a World Cup and do really well. And that's where the honor is getting into that jersey. So I think there's a handful of them in this group that could really do that. And so I'm really excited to see their growth. It's been awesome.
That's excellent. And you see the players, players, teammates just happy for their teammates. I just love that stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really great. So a really good step forward as we look ahead to the 10th season for MLR. You're talking about the importance of understanding where we are with a high-performance league. That is now, the way you've been talking, you're talking about a league now that is focused on developing the Eagles as much as anything else.
Yeah, I think it's a really important business argument. It's a really important part of our business. But beyond that, most of our owners got in this because they wanted to see the U.S. continue to improve, and they wanted to see an aspirational pathway for future rugby players to get into and see how they could go up the pyramid. And I think those are really important pieces. It doesn't mean that we don't want to be a global league as well in time. And we have, a lot of different countries represented in our league. And I think that'll also continue. And the two are not mutually exclusive, but let's be very, very clear. Success at the national team level, at the international game, helps rugby in this country, which is good for all of us, for sure. And it's near and dear to many of our hearts.
We talked about the numbers of the teams in the league and things like that. And just as we look forward, 14 players picked because we have a 5-team league.
Yeah.
Is it important to expand to 6? Is that something that's on the horizon?
I think so. I think that makes a schedule much easier. It makes it even. We're excited to have a 5-team league and deliver on what our KPIs are and continue to improve. With a shortened league that we had this year, we went up 55% on linear broadcasters on ESPN2, 35% across our streams, 700% across video views on TikTok. I know a lot of that doesn't matter in the context of the draft and everything else, but it matters for our business and the growth of the game here in the United States, that more and more people are falling in love with the game. And yes, in time, we want to scale into a lot more cities. One, because there's some great rugby communities in cities across the United States and in Canada, but also that's good for business, and it's good for the growth of the game in the United States. And that will come for sure.
Excellent. All right, Alex Magleby, great night. Really exciting. Just making sure with the producers if I can hear if we need anything else, or we can just say goodnight. We'll see. And love it. All right. Well, let's go. And Brandon Sparks, comments.
Hey, Alex.
Brandon. Yeah, you've been overseeing all of this and making sure this happens, right? And people make sure they make their picks on time.
Not so much me. I think a lot of credit needs to be given to Aaron Castro, who works in the background really hard on this, as well as the teams. Like, it's nice to see him work in a league where the teams are so invested in working with and investing in young American athletes.
All right, and what are the teams looking for? I mean, when they talk to you and they want to know more about a player or more about a certain type of player, what are they asking?
Yeah, it's a good question. They're looking mainly at size and who fits the profile of what could be an elite MLR players, and they go from there, and they just get in there and they invest. I think Chris Latham in Chicago do a great job with it. You're seeing California really invest in the U.S., and so is the Seawolves. So it's great to work in a league where the guys are the coaches, the GMs are so concerned and invested in the American talent.
All right, Brandon, appreciate it. Thank you so much. We have somebody else coming in. I told everybody that you were okay, because I think people were worried. People were concerned. It's like, what happened to the man? You're in. You made it. Congratulations. Yes. Have you seen the list?
Absolutely. I've been.
What do you think?
Keeping an eagle eye. Well, everyone, great to be here at the Major League Rugby draft. Yeah, it's been quite a day. And what a day it's been for someone like Logan Ballinger becoming the #1 draft pick. I want to go back to that right at the beginning, seeing him there with his life friends in the locker room. That's a special, special moment. And credit to him, credit to Old Glory DC selecting Logan as well. Really interesting call. I seen not that long ago that Aiden King, the back row player for Old Glory, had a really good season. He's actually just signed in the championship across in the UK. So maybe that was a decision behind where DC's thoughts were, as here is a guy who's had an excellent collegiate career in the back row. He's a line-out option as well, which also I think provides a really necessary attribute. So congratulations to Logan. But overall, there's been some really interesting picks in there as well. Great to see Maro Storti, although I did think Maro might have gone a little bit earlier. I think a back three sort of player might have been interested in sort of going the first round. But at the same time, Solomon Williams, it didn't surprise me. I'm sure California Legion might have been a little bit disappointed they didn't get him. But in the end, he is going to the Seattle Seawolves, which he sounds like he's very happy about. And as for, by the way, Legion, Kobe Baker, that's a great pickup as well.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic pick, and I think that you saw some real thought behind some of these picks to bring in somebody, I really, in going through and looking at this, Tyler White was somebody who jumped out at me as someone who could really break out from, look, we talk about the D1A teams and the non-D1A teams, and, NCR D1 team, championship team, St. Bonaventure, and they had several players in the draft, but Tyler White has that frame and that work rate and that rugby intelligence and that that was somebody who excited me. I mean, Will, from round 2, anybody jumped out? You mentioned Mario.
Definitely. I think, in all honesty, I'm thinking of a guy that you and I know plenty of the others who've been prepping for this Major League Rugby draft. In Aaron Van Dyke, spoke about this Arkansas State University guy. Big presence, big back row presence. Great to see that California Legion have picked him up. And what I imagine is that having that extra back row option is something that then allows the Legion just to dip in and out, potentially with the other options they've had this year or the season just gone, to then going into next year as well. So Aaron is a big presence, and I expect him to make a big impact to the Legion next year.
Then we look at round 3. I could talk about any of these real quick. Cormac Saint,
yes,
quote unquote understudy to Solomon Williams, good enough to be drafted, and I think that's fantastic. It speaks so much to the depth that Cal had, and also to Cormac's patience to not get frustrated and continue to play and to continue to perform and continue to be pretty special. But looking at those last 5, who jumped out for you, Will?
Yeah, great pickup, Cormac Saint. And I actually remember Todd Thornley was talking about the Cal scrum half. So that was great to see him. I also really like Nate Deegan because I think St. Mary's, California, St. Mary's College of California, really strong rugby program. And I know Nate has really stood out there. Great to see him involved in this draft. And another great pick for Old Glory DC. I think Old Glory DC have done very well in this draft overall, Alex.
Yeah, and they get a DC kid back home. We talked with Mags about the 10th season coming up on Major League Rugby. He was very optimistic. We talked about hey, he's looking on the silver lining of a 5-team league and saying, hey, most high performance leagues around the world are about 5 teams. So what we're not really all that different. When you're thinking about next year in the light of this draft, next year with MLR, what do you see?
Look, I see a lot of American domestic talent being played, and I've seen that in the season that's just gone. And also I've seen that now in this draft, is that because obviously there is a leaner amount of spots, but having spoken to these GMs, having spoken to some of these head coaches as well, there is a general need to want to go and grab these college talent and bring them in and bring them into play. And that's the exciting thing for me, is that I really expect these guys are going to be playing Major League Rugby next season. As for, I think I listened to Mags and he makes such a good point in terms of the high performance. There's a World Cup next year, 2027. I know we get excited about the 2031 Rugby World Cup. There is a World Cup next year. And the building of MLR going towards 2031 is all still going to be very much in place. I think, yes, for having 5 teams, we want obviously more in the future, but overall, I think it makes still a very, very competitive competition. We saw how competitive it was this year. I'm sure it will be the same next year.
Can somebody unseat Chicago?
Oh, the Hounds fans who might be watching, how dare I? You've gone unbeaten in 2026. I predict that someone will be beating Chicago next year. Are they maybe the favourites? It's hard to look past them. They were very, very good, Chris Latham's men. And they've also recruited, a couple of names to mention on their side of things. I mentioned how Hayden McKay, if you looked on US MLR social media, Hayden McKay is a great pickup from Mount St. Mary. So they're only going to just be adding strength to their roster.
What do you see going between now and the next season? Changes, or whether it's player stuff or it's coaching, it's team stuff, any changes, adjustments in the league?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be lots of updates as we come towards the second half of the year, and also planning. I think there's lots of things to be excited about going to next year. One of the things I was really excited about was Sunday Night Rugby, a brand new product that was in 2026. That's only going to start materializing into something bigger and better for next year. It's something I'm really looking forward to. There are a lot of successes to come out of 2026 to catapult us through to 2027. And I imagine, as Mr. Alex Magleby has said, there will be further updates, and there might even be some further news to come. Stay patient. We appreciate
Such as? Like what?
I'm just saying there's plenty of stuff to come up. And ultimately, overall, I think we really got to thank our fans for staying patient with Major League Rugby, and the players need that support as well. As much as anyone, these draftees have a future. They have an exciting future and something which I think we should be positive about going forward for them.
Will, I'm so happy you made it. I really am. I was worried about you, but I wasn't really worried about you. I knew you'd get in. But it's been pretty exciting. Really good to know and hear what you had to say about the picks, because you know where they're going. I know where they're coming from. Very exciting. Congratulations to everybody who got picked, and the players who were not drafted. You now have an opportunity to perhaps control your destiny, and it's been fantastic. Thank you, Mags. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks to the picks. Thanks, Will. Thank you for watching. I'm Alex Goff, and we are done with the Major League Rugby Draft 2026. Thanks to everybody for being here.